Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm with Christina, the COO and CFO of Simple CFO Solutions. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Leonard. Appreciate being here.
So tell us a little bit more, what do you guys do?
So at Simple CFO Solutions, we offer fractional CFO services, bookkeeping, and tax strategy to all business owners. I would say 95% of our clients are real estate based. So they're real estate investors, they fix and flip, or construction companies. That's who we work with, because David Richter is the co-founder or the founder of Simple CFO, and he wrote the book, Profit First for Real Estate Investing. So he got the idea from working for someone and understanding that these people needed help. So when he put the book together, talked with Mike Michalowicz, and so that kind of is the foundation of Simple CFO. And people started reaching out to him to get help, and then he started realizing there was such a need. I came in to help train the CFOs, to develop more of a system, be a part of operations, and then just grew into every single role within the company. And then as of January 2025, we became partners, and then I became the CFO of Simple CFO. So that's how we flourished, and we just help people understand, help business owners understand what they make, spend, and keep, set up a financial foundation for them in their system, and then just make sure that we're giving them strategy, being their windshield, not their rear view mirror, and just understanding when they have a business problem, a financial problem, how to attack it, how to be proactive, and how to get to the bottom of it and grow their business.
Gotcha. And so 95% in real estate for your clients. So I didn't quite understand. So did you say because of the book that he wrote, that's why you guys decided to specialize in the real estate niche, or what made you guys decide to really focus on that niche?
Well, he knew, so he had worked for a real estate company prior, and that's where he kind of understood. So he'll say, I'm not an accountant at all. So he's just a business owner and passionate about helping other people and understanding. He's more of an operational guy, like running things on EOS, running operations. So he worked for real estate. So he understood that it was a real big need with real estate investing. And I think mostly because, in my opinion, because people get started in, say, flipping houses because of all the TV shows. And they're like, oh, I can do this. This looks so easy. I'm going to flip a house. And they don't realize all the things that you have to keep track of, to budget, to understand if you make money. And a lot of people say, I have a ton of money. I flipped 30 houses this year, but I have no idea where that money went. And that's a lot of what we hear. So I think it's just the need in real estate, and David having such a big background. I'm in real estate with my husband. We flipped houses, we own rentals, we own apartments now. So I've done every aspect of real estate. So it's just kind of where he speaks, people reading the book. It's kind of where people grasp to. That's not to say we can't help people that are in other industries, but we tend to stick to being in the real estate rooms.
Right, gotcha. And is it typically your clients more just everyday people like us, or is it more like businesses in the real estate niche?
I'd say both. I'd say some people come to us that have done maybe 3 deals. We're really big with home investors, so we partner with home investors, and a lot of people with home investors, that's a franchise. So they give you deals and they teach you how to do those deals. So as you can imagine, those guys that are coming in, or girls, should I say, that are coming in are just getting started. They just want their deals and they want to understand how to do it. So they're pretty small, but they need to know how to set up their business, and they want to get started right, and they want to understand, how do I even set up QuickBooks? Do I need a software? What do I need to get started with? Up until the guys that have done the fix and flipping, that have done a bunch of wholesales, that have hold, over 150 rentals, and now they want to grow and get to the next level, and they have no idea how to do that. So, and then they've done it really well, and they've turned to coaching. And so now they're like, oh, I have all these lines of business, and I have no idea how to manage all of them together. So it goes anywhere from someone that makes 100,000 to people that make 20, 50 million a year. So it's very broad.
Okay, gotcha. And then a thing that from our conversation so far that you keep saying that you guys really do, helping business owners understand how much they make, keep, and spend. Can you tell me a little bit more, how do you go about making them understand those things? Especially, I imagine some aren't really that good with numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. That is key. So it's profit first system. So if everyone knows the old adage of Dave Ramsey and putting all your money in an envelope, taking the money out, no one does that anymore, right? So they have bank accounts, and the best way to separate your bank account is by putting it in its own separate account. So it's like you're in control of your money. So if it needs to go to another account and I need it for a purpose, I'm putting it there for my purpose. Not just money comes in and out and I have no idea where it's going. So money that you make is anything that goes into your income account, and that's a separate account. So then you can really just pull your income account and say, okay, how much did I make? And there's nothing coming out except for transfers. So you can literally see how much you made just by pulling that account instead of all the debits and credits coming out together and trying to net it yourself. So that's make. And then on the spend side, it's how much am I actually spending to run my business? And there's two things. You have, obviously everyone has a cost that it costs to run their business. So what cost do I immediately have coming out that in order to create this revenue, I had to spend this money? So a contractor that's doing the work for you. Well, if you didn't have the flip, you wouldn't have to pay the contractor. So that's a direct cost, and that's considered a pass-through. So that goes first because you technically can't consider that all revenue. So if I make $50,000 and I pay a contractor 10, I technically only made 40 because I had to pay the contractor in order to make that 50. So then that becomes your real revenue. What did I actually make? And so then we go through everything that they spend and we help them understand where their money is actually going. And we dig into everything in their expenses and tell them, this is a huge one, and you may know this too. There's so many apps, there's so many subscriptions available now that there's a lot of people that just sign up for them, and you don't realize that you have probably 10 apps, and you probably need like 3 of them because they all do the same thing. So we kind of help them understand, hey, did you know you're spending this? What is this? And most importantly, what you keep, because you don't really have a business if you're not keeping anything. So money comes in, money goes out. But if you're not paying yourself as a business owner and you don't know how much you're actually profiting and keeping, then you really can't grow and you can't get to the next step in your business. So, and you don't want to pay someone else more than you pay yourself. So the biggest thing that we want to do for clients when they come in is help them pay themselves and put aside some money so they can actually give themselves what they need to substantiate their lives. So if I have a need for my life, I have to pay my mortgage, I have to pay my utilities and other expenses that you want to have every month. That's your need, and then we create that amount from them. So then every dollar that comes in, this amount needs to go to you. And then you always want profit too. So profit and owner's comp are two different things. So what you pay yourself is what you need to run your household. But then anything on top of that is your profit. So we want to make people understand, just like the old profit first, like profit comes first. We want you to take your profit and pay yourself first. And then what's left over, learn to stay within those means of what those expenses are to run your business. And don't just add things because it looks cool. Because nowadays, you click on Google and everything that comes up is something that could be cool and it could help you. So
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, like really just focusing on the profit is the most important thing. And those, like you say, those software expenses can add up pretty quickly, especially if you've got like some multiple licenses and everything as well. Like I did a big software audit for my business recently as well, and it was just crazy how much I was spending on software each month, and it's just going out of my account. And so what would you say is like the biggest mistake that when you guys start working with these like business owners, what's usually like the biggest mistake that you see that they're making?
Oh, not tracking things correctly, not understanding that all these costs are actually going towards your business and toward making money. So like if you close on a deal, they need to know how to split that money that they're getting. That's income. That's good. They went through all this trouble and all this time. I don't know if you know flipping houses or if you've ever flipped a house, but you can make a good $30,000. Let's say you flip a house and you make $30,000. Well, if you don't know what to do with that money, you really don't have a business. You have a hobby. You're taking that $30,000 and you're just playing with it, or going on vacation, doing different things. But if you really want to grow your business, you take that $30,000, you replenish your reserves for what you spent on that rehab. You pay yourself a certain amount from it. You put at least 1% in profit, and then you put a percentage into operating so you can continue to operate your business, pay subscriptions, pay your admins, your VAs, people that you have to pay regardless of whether you do another deal, and marketing, anything that you would have to pay. So just helping them understand, like, of that $30,000, where does that money go, and how can I actually continue to replenish these accounts and grow my business, not just willy-nilly with the 30,000. So they get stressed out because they know how many deals they're closing. They just don't know what they're doing with the money. So the biggest mistake is not tracking it accurately and not knowing where it's all going, not paying themselves. It's just not having a handle on what's going in and out of their business, which is why we like the different bank accounts. I know it sounds stressful, like go open 5 bank accounts, right? It sounds like, I don't really want to go open 5 bank accounts, but it's the best thing that you can do because it literally separates things for you. I mean, why do you have separate rooms in your houses? So you know what happens in the bathroom. I know it sounds funny, but it's simple. Like you keep it separate because you go in these rooms for a specific purpose. So same with the bank account. You go to the certain bank accounts for a specific purpose. You don't just throw it in one account and close your hands and pray and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's very true. It'd be weird to be doing some things from the bathroom in the kitchen or something like that. Yeah, it's so true to like the tracking everything that you're doing, not just like with the real estate, but just in life as well. Like I find when I stop tracking things start to not be as good. Like when I don't track my weight, I don't track the things that I eat, everything starts to a little bit fall apart, and you can't like measure what you're doing and make adjustments based on what you're seeing. So yeah, it's definitely very important. And then you said for you guys at the moment, one of the things that you're working on is marketing and like expanding the business. So tell me a little bit more, what are you guys doing in terms of marketing and expansion?
Well, we try to, so it's been David, wrote the book and he travels a lot and he goes to rooms and he gets up on stages and teaches, but it gets tiring and you don't want to do that all the time. So you want to work on what's a great marketing technique to where I can let people know what we actually do, let them know that they can trust us. We can go in, because financials is a hard conversation for people to start to talk about. You talk to someone, you get to know them. That's probably not one of the questions that you ask any of your friends. I mean, when do you sit down with your friends and say, hey, you want to talk about your finances today? It doesn't really happen. So it's one of those subjects that's tough. You need to earn their trust. You need to talk through them, and they need to know, like, I can trust this person to help me to get to where I need to get to. So it's not your typical marketing. You can't just go on Facebook and place some ads and people are like, oh yeah, I want to talk to this person about my finances, and click a button. It's very difficult. So trying to figure out what type of analysis can we do for people that, like, it's all about helping others. So we really want to put out these products or something to where they can click a button, fill in their financials, and at least get something back to help them. So just, where's your profit leaks? Where are you wasting money the most? How can we help you get on the right track? What are the 3 most important things you can do right now to change the trajectory of your business? So we're thinking through how to put that stuff together, how to market it to them, how to get people value with, they don't need to sign up and pay, $1,500, $1,800 a month, but it's about, can we get you help and can you make those next steps? And when you feel like, okay, this is great, I can make those next steps, they've made a difference, now I'm ready to take that extra step to get a CFO, to actually, open my books for people and trust them. And so finding that fine line between making sure that we're giving them that value and really helping them take that next step, and can we help them further? So it's a tough balance there.
Yeah, a good book on that. Have you read Gary V? It's called Jab, Jab, Right Hook. And it's kind of similar to what you're saying. It's just like adding value. And then once you've added a lot of value, then going for the ask of like, hey, do you need help with something like this? Or like Alex Hormozy also says, he's like, give them so much value that they ask like, how do I work with you or something? And they just want to give you money because you've given them so much value. So yeah, pretty similar to what you're saying. So in terms of marketing, so it sounds like it's kind of like a lead magnet, essentially, just adding a lot of value. Is there any other marketing things that you guys are planning, or is this the primary one with adding those like resources and things?
That's mostly the primary right now. I mean, we like to teach to groups. So I've always been, a teacher, and I want to share the value and do presentations. So we like to get into like coaching groups and teaching groups so we can actually teach their students. It's like home investors, we go in with them. There's no charge. We just have like a really good relationship, and we just want to help their students. So they do the operation side. So they give them deals, they help them, but they don't. We come in and we help on the financial side. So we help them sort that out. So it's more so, how can we provide that value? We love to teach, so that's more what we want to do. Get into those coaching groups and teach their students how to handle their financials correctly. And then we have the book. So the book was written a while back. So now we've released workbooks, and the workbooks are put out. So instead of having the book, but the workbook will walk you through what type of deal you're doing. So we have one for wholesales, one for fix and flips, one for new construction, one for actually lending money. So they can actually take that workbook and hands-on go through what a deal looks like, write things out, and understand how they can position their deals and their companies to separate their money correctly. So those they're being released in stages. So they kind of go along with the book, so you can kind of buy both. But that's a good release for us because it helps people actually. People are very tangible. They're hands-on. So actually having it and walking through it is very beneficial than just reading.
Yeah, definitely. And then I know another thing that you said you guys are focusing on is improving client retention. You said you were aiming to get about, was it 90% client retention? I guess, firstly, how did you get to 90%? How did you guys decide on like that specific number?
Talking to a lot of coaches, operational coaches, but just the number that if I forecast out, then 90% puts us in the best spot, and you don't have to. Things happen. Most people leave because they have a deal on the market and it hasn't closed. No one. That's usually what we see. Or you never want, if you're a fractional CFO, the only reason you want a client to leave you really because you've done such a good job growing their business. Now they want an in-house CFO. Or they demand more time. So ideally, that's what we would want. But those people are going to have turn. So 90% is just a good number. I always want to set goals to where you get excited about having it and you know that you can reach it, not 95 and you're not reaching it. So then you're kind of kicking yourself in the foot every month. We've always been at about 84. So small moves. We've been at 87 before. So just those micro moves. And that's what a lot of business owners don't understand. Like if you make $100,000 now, like you don't have to go from 100,000 to 500,000 because then you're overwhelming yourself and you don't know where to go with it. Like to increase it that much is tough. So baby steps on like, okay, well, how do I make those next immediate moves just to get me to 200,000? What can I do? Or even 150 if you have to break it down into that micro level. So for me, keeping retention up requires, all right, so how do we train our CFOs better? What can we do to understand the needs of our clients better? What type of tools? There's AI out there now. There's so many tools available to help us. And so how do we put that all together to where we give them more and more value and we understand what problems they're facing? And the market's changing all the time. Real estate is the most volatile business. So a lot of people get down in the dumps because interest rates are high or houses aren't selling. So then when you're flipping, they're not selling. So there's just so many different things with the volatile market that we need to stay ahead of as CFOs. And then we have about 18 CFOs on our team. So now it takes us from leadership going to train our CFOs. So we have office hours with them twice a week. We meet as a company every Wednesday. So we really, we have immediate communication. We're always there to help them. So what we can do at the foundation of our business is how we can improve retention with the clients.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's always like just like micro improvements. I always like say like 1% better every day, and then by the end of the year, you'll be a completely different person. Your business will be a completely different business. Just like a little bit better every day. And then, so tell me a little bit more, what are some of the things that you guys are doing to get up to that 90% retention? I know you touched on it a little bit towards the end, but is there anything else that you're doing to boost it up?
I would say mostly just being proactive. So we have a client success manager on our team, and that is like the most important role for us. They are a client advocate. So every time we bring on a client, we have a really good onboarding process. That's what most people sing our praises about, that it's just so clear that when they get onboarded, they know exactly what's happening and how everything's kicking off and exactly what steps they're taking. But we take it a step further. They get assigned to their CFO, and then our client success advocate, she checks in with them within 30 days. She makes sure that we're sharing all the wins. The CFOs are updating us on everything. She's making sure that she's communicating across all levels, CFO to client, and then she jumps in there. Is there anything that we can help you with? How's it going? And then she checks in another 30 days when we have milestones on what should be done. Like, let's say we set up their Profit First accounts, we've completed their financial foundation, then she's checking in to make sure that it's going well. There's no hiccups in their business. There's nothing that she needs to know about, that we're just being proactive and jumping in front of it. That way we can reach out before, because their instinct might be, oh, I see this 1,800 coming out of my account every day or every month. I need to cancel something, I'm going to cancel it. So if we're getting in front of that issue and saying, what can we do to make that better for you? What does our CFO need to do? Is there anything that we need to talk about? And just getting in front of it to where we're not coming after the fact. Oh, you canceled? I'm so sorry. What happened?
Yeah, and that's very powerful. And it's just like, it sounds like just showing them every day the value in working with you guys, as opposed to them questioning it and then leaving and then trying to go back, which is always much more difficult. I know we're starting to run out of time here, so how about let's finish on, is there anyone that you follow or anyone that like inspires you to do like the stuff that you do?
Oh boy. I mean, there's lots of people that have inspired me over time, but it's people that have crossed my path and that have really helped me get to where I need to be. Like little, people that were CFOs that actually taught me. I worked for the CFO project and helped them with training, and they were awesome. Jeff and Adam, they built the CFO project. Like, they actually really helped me understand how to actually build a CFO business. And this was years ago, but they were really great mentors of mine. I wouldn't say I follow them because they're just business owners, but I follow Alex Hermosi. I always read stuff that happens, but I'm very Christian, so I follow a lot of just upbeat. I'm positive about things, so I just try and keep a good outlook on it. If there's books that are out there, I always, The Road Less Stupid, that's a great book. So I always read that because that helps you like get into the mind too, where you're like, you can literally flip through it. I don't know if you've read it.
The Road
Have
Less
you read
Stupid?
The Road Less Stupid?
No, I
It's Keith
haven't. I
Cunningham.
took a note. The what, sorry?
Keith Cunningham is the author. He's a really good author.
Okay. I'll put it to my
But that
my
one like
reading list.
has questions in it, and it's like you can literally flip to the question. It's not like you don't have to read it front to back. You can flip to a question of an issue that you're having, and then it's kind of like ask yourself these questions as a business owner. So
Okay.
it's a really good book. So I've read a lot of his books. So, and then The Psychology of Money is a really good book. So I wouldn't say I follow people. I just read and take in the information to keep getting better and better. Because that in turn
Yeah.
will help me build my team and serve my team, and then build and serve customers as well.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's been great having you on the show. Where can people go to learn a little bit more about you and what you guys do?
Absolutely. They can go to simplecfo.com. Super easy. If you're interested in even finding out what your financials look like or having a conversation, just hit book a discovery call, and then you can get on the phone with myself or David, and then we can walk you through what that looks like.
Okay, awesome.
So
Well, I appreciate you
simplecfo.com.
coming. All right, cool. I'll include the links in the show notes below. I appreciate you coming on. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.